There we go. Hello, welcome back for our next episode of Champions of the Fae. I'm really excited to see what happens this week because we had a very thrilling and exciting episode last session where amazingly none of us got eaten by a dragon. Um, but now Garvin is hungry, and even though he's small, I'm somehow more frightened by that fact. So we'll see what happens. Before we jump in, I want to say a few quick words about our sponsors and also mention one of the supplements that we're using for this campaign called the Children and Champions of the Fae. It's a PDF that you can pick up over on DM's Guild. There's a link in chat. It's pretty cool. A lot of us pulled a lot of things from it. My character in particular is a sprite, which is an ancestry that you can take from that particular supplement. So it's pretty cool. So go check that out. And then our sponsors are Fundamental RPG. It is a simple D20 system. It's not tied to a genre, so you can use it to play any style of game that you like, from high fantasy to sci-fi and everything in between. The book itself looks like this. You can pick up your own copy on Amazon if you want the physical book, or if you prefer just to have a PDF, or if you'd just like to try the free quick play guide, you can pick that up at coffee.com/raven, like it's spelled at the bottom of the screen. Our other sponsor is Die Hard Dice. They sell amazing polymer and metal dice sets and accessories. Cannot recommend them enough, both for being awesome at making dice and just awesome people in general over there. I highly recommend checking out the Talisman, always get tongue-tied on this, Aventura set. It looks like Adventurine. They're really, really pretty. They sent me these recently, and I'm using them right now for when I need to make physical rolls. There's a link to those right in chat. And if you use the code FUNRPG, all one word, you can get 10% off of your order. And I think that is everything. So Andy, go ahead and take it away.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are going to be jumping back into our Garvin conversation right where we left off. But before we do that, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves, tell a little bit about what you're up to right now and who you are playing for us for tonight. Let's start off with our top corner. Zan, who are you and who are you playing with us tonight?
I'm Zan. I am a professional therapeutic GM and content creator. I guess homebrew writer. Yeah, let's go with that, homebrew writer. I am playing Baskin, who's still a Triceratops, and world can deal with that as it wants to deal with that. And yeah, now you can find me at Insanity TTRPG in most places. I've got some cool stuff coming up.
All right, excellent. Oh yeah, good fight, by the way. We'll get to that in just a second. Unfortunately, Amira Ash, played by X the Transient on Twitter, is not going to be joining us tonight, and neither will Revelry, our resident tiefling, played by Timberdoodles. Both of them have other things going on tonight, unfortunately, but hopefully we will be seeing them a little bit later. Moving on down below, Par Professional, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are playing for us tonight.
Hey there, I'm Par. I am, I guess I'm a streamer currently, since I've gotten back to streaming, and I am enjoying it, so hopefully I will continue to do it. Tonight, I am playing Dram Loomis, a half-elf, half-darkling, who's a rogue, a phantom rogue who hears the voices of the dead. It's also fun.
Excellent, thanks. And up in the top corner, let's go over to Anna, Archival Dustbun. Who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are playing tonight.
Yes, I am Anna, aka Archival Dustbunny, most places on the internet, Coin Trans Advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer and podcaster. Other than here, you can also find me on Response Team Omnicron, an awesome podcast. But I play Ruliuela, who is a Selkie cold water sorcerer, both the race and subclass from the Champions and Children and Champions of the Fae. I can never remember which way that goes. Both of them are from the Children and Champions of the Fae supplement, and have some pretty cool abilities to them. So you should check that out.
It is a very, very cool set. All of the plot, by the way, is from pieces and bits of that. Let's go on to right below Raven, tell us a little bit more about yourself and who you have for us tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm Raven. I am the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for all the various things that I do, most of which are tabletop related or adjacent, such as I'm a professional GM. I do art. I did the overlay and cover art and all that for this game, as well as most of the other ones on the channel. So I do graphic art as well, writing, editing, game design, a whole bunch of stuff. You can find all of my stuff at theravenevermore.com. That's RAVYN evermore.com. And I am playing Jinx, who is a 6-inch tall sprite. She's something of a cross between Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony and Nora from Ruby. So she's very hyperactive and really likes to fight. And she works for the Raven Queen, basically taking out undead who have, cheated death, essentially. And that is her job. She's a warlock and a sorcerer. And yeah, that's it.
All right, excellent. And I am Andrew Martinez Tweets on Twitter. I am your DM, your GM. I am everything and everyone else in this world that we have, specifically all the NPCs, including the dragon, well, the guy we just met, whose name was Garvin. Last time, we made it to the Karasha Island, one of the floating islands in the sky. The Feywilds have merged together, and from each of those realms, a specific piece of land was removed and taken to the sky that have now been currently floating around all of the realms as they have merged together. You all have been tasked with the goal of figuring out what the heck is happening by King Oberyn himself, who, last you spoke to, is at a bit of a loss at the moment. After traversing through the forests of Elassidir, talking to a handful of different NPCs, going to several different locations, you got some good pastries that allowed you to fly up to one of these islands and explored the island of Karasha, which you discovered was from the realm of Sylvanthe. While you were there, you found a couple of odd organisms, a lot of creatures that didn't look like they really fit in the island or the realm of Sylvanthe itself. And after taking a little bit of a pit stop and landing from your flight, you yourself turned into a handful of random organisms with a couple of different twists and abilities to those. As you landed, the massive, slender dragon, who calls himself Garvin, introduced himself to you and asked to play a game of hide and seek, telling all of you to go throughout the island, and he will come find you. After running away, hiding a little bit, fighting a little bit, talking a little bit, eventually it was decided that he did find you all, and you placated his desire to play a game as you had a little conversation with Garvin outside of the massive lake that he seems to be living in. As you talked with him a little bit, he told you a little bit more about himself, a little bit more about a couple of other entities, and answering a couple of questions that you asked about what is going on and does he know anything about it. He did tell you, absolutely he does. It is not him himself, but it is the Big G. And he answered a couple of questions, pointed you in a direction, but whether or not he has physically seen whatever this entity is still remains to be seen. At the very, very end of that conversation, it was requested for a wrestling match between Bastion and Garvin, our massive dragon, and at the time, and still currently, our big Triceratops. After some fantastic rolls and very poor rolls on Garvin's part, a strong battle ensued where Bastion defeated Garvin in one-on-one physical combat in the Triceratops form. As he dropped down to 0 hit points, he started to shrink and get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until Jinxie was just about the size of you. And sitting right where Garvin was, this massive 40-foot long sea serpent, now sits this tiny little mollusk without a shell, as it has the same body proportions and body limbs as Garvin did in his big dragon form, now significantly smaller. Streaks of white and light blues are going through this dark blue, very squishy looking body. You no longer see a face. You no longer see what you would resemble as mostly an animal at this point. And in front of you sits this sea slug. As he did tell you he was hungry, as Garvin starts to head back slowly towards the water where you are all sitting around right now. He's still out if you have anything to ask him, but he's heading slowly towards the water at the moment. You are all around the lake of the island of Crash, still floating in the sky, currently above, as last you checked at least, above the realm of Elassidir. Currently, though, heading off, looks like towards the plains of Nymphindor. What would you all like to do now?
Important question.
Yes,
How long have
important
we
answer.
been sitting here? How long has my sealskin been soaking in the salt water?
Well, we've been here at the island as you've been talking to Garvin. It's been about 20, 30 minutes, so you could feel free to stick around and hang out here for a little bit. If you have any things to ask or do at this lake, you got about 20, 30 more minutes left.
I am there kind of half submerged with my sealskin in the water, just kind of laying on, I guess there's a beach, a shore, something here.
Yeah,
Laying
so
there
around,
staring up at the sky.
absolutely. Around the outside of the lake, there is a very nice beach. Remember, there is a river that goes out to the edge of the island. On the south side of the island, it just turns into massive trees as it goes up this very slight steep mountain where you did find a cave where the waterfall is coming out of from behind you. But at the moment, you are on the north side of the island, lake rather, and you are currently on a pretty nice beach. This sand is very, very soft. As you know, all the sand is Sylvanthi happens to be.
So it was mentioned out of game in our Discord earlier today, and I think Jinx might actually come up with this question too. So Jinx might turn to everybody and be like, "Hey, what if like Jeffrey and all the other weird animals are actually like us, and they got turned into weird things, and they're actually like, you know, intelligent and just can't get out of those forms or something."
That would explain why they're so angry.
I mean, I'd be pretty cranky too.
We should try that. I have to fix my sealskin, but right after that, we should try that.
I don't know that. Not sure about that giraffe. I think it really is it's just like that.
It's possible.
I mean, I touched it, or rather it smacked me with its face, and it came off as pretty evil, not gonna lie.
I mean, I can kick its ass if we want. It'll be totally fine. Not even my whole afternoon, man. I can just real quick.
I feel bad though if we beat it up and then it's not. Then I'd feel really bad about that, but we could just heal it, I guess.
Yeah.
I could keep it from dying, and it is evil.
That's true. Asking, if you enjoy that form so much, if you're careful to stay healed, you could be that form forever.
Well, I mean, that is kind of cool, but my teeth aren't really good with the meat right now, I feel like. And that's kind of making me a little bit sad. So, like, this is cool, but this is like a, it's like the, like a summer cottage. I really wouldn't want to be this all year. But hey, sometimes this is kind of fun.
I get that. I don't like staying in the humanoid form too long. It's so gangly.
I guess I think I'm going to maybe go and harass other things. Hello, is anyone around?
Go ahead and make a perception check as you wander for a little bit. Are you leaving the lake or are you just looking?
No, I'm just yelling loudly.
All right.
Oh, wait, nope, that's wrong. That is incorrect. That would have been what's that natural roll? That would have been a 17.
All right. As you yell out is anybody around, and look around. You don't see the giraffe. What you do see, as you look around, you notice there's a little bit of a movement over on the trees that you were hiding in a little bit earlier, next to the river that leaves the island. As you look up, you shake your head for a second, because is that you? No, there's another Triceratops currently at the top of one of those trees, who has taken your voice and is looking in your general direction, who has definitely clocked where you all are. But that's the one that really looks around. You do see Garvin is still around. He is slowly making his way to the beach and back into the water, but he's going very, very slowly in this form.
I think Bask will go over to Garvin then and ask,
Hey, the other thing that is really high up in the tree. What was he?
Oh, I do not know, if I am going to be honest. I do not ask these questions unless they need something of Garvin.
Well, okay, that was so not helpful at all. Okay.
Garvin
Wow.
apologizes. All who come here are under Garvin's magic. However, unless they seek Garvin specifically, Garvin does not ask them any questions.
Speaking of you there, Garvin, you're moving kind of slow. Do you need a lift to where you're going?
Actually, since you are offering, Garvin would very much appreciate a lift into the water.
Jinx will hop onto Bob the bird and just have Bob swoop down and gently pick up Garvin and take him to the water.
Wonderful. And very, very easy. As Bob picks up this little sea slug and bloop, takes him the next 15 feet that potentially would have taken him a significantly longer time, and plops him right in the water. As he does, you can start to see him moving a little bit faster now. He does have a faster swim speed than he does a walking speed. He's kind of just coasting around the water. For you who are here, do you have any last questions or things for Garvin before I feed?
What do you eat?
Garvin eats the most delicious algae. It is down at the bottom of the lake.
Algae, that sounds tasty.
I see what you have done here. Garvin is unsure, but Garvin does see.
Oh, and enjoy your food. I don't have any more questions. Anybody else?
Okay, yeah, sure, I guess if no one else. Were you ever going to like jump off of the island, or like what's the 2 weeks from now plan?
Oh. Well, Garvin will rest. Garvin will reemerge soon, and Garvin will see the realms.
And are you like going to stop and like get off and say hello, go to a pub? What are you? Do you just stay on the rock the whole time? Is this where you will die?
Garvin is unsure about where death will occur.
It can be
However-
here.
Maybe. Time will tell. However, Garvin is lucky to be able to see from the island. Unfortunately, this is the only place that Garvin can be at the moment. Garvin cannot leave the island or the realm of Sylvanthe. But the island can.
Okay, that's pretty strange. Great, I guess. So tomorrow we're all going to come out here and we're going to play again. I don't really know. Are you going to try to eat us again?
No. Garvin was simply playing a game. Garvin does not eat things of your size. Garvin enjoys a nice, soft algae. Though things of your size do try to eat Garvin every once in a while. Those things are swiftly dealt with.
I mean, it's because you are very colorful. You are very easy to see.
Garvin does like being the center of attention.
Yeah, I could see that.
Garvin thanks you.
Well, I guess what's our plan for... I mean, our stop is coming up here in a bit, right? We need to get off the island, and that won't be a problem for me, but it might be a problem for the rest of you.
I mean, I think I would be okay if we just jumped, and Triceratops should be okay as well, maybe? You seem pretty strong.
Oh yeah, can't nothing slow me down right now.
Triceratops is the best thing I've heard all day. That was amazing.
Well, he needs a nickname. You know, we've been together long enough as a party that we should have nicknames. Sarah is a good one, but if there's another one, Basti, you already have a nickname?
Elbow biter. I was called elbow biter a few times. Yeah. You know, they have long elbows that are hot, like taller than they should be, but they're weird. Don't do it. It's an ironic nickname. You wouldn't actually really live if you did. No, otherwise no. Yeah, no. But yeah, I'm okay with just jumping down. That should be, that sounds like a really fun time.
What about the rest of the party though?
Well, depending on how far the fall, I will die.
I mean, I could keep you from dying. It would just hurt a lot.
Oh, fun.
I could if you jumped after me. As long as I got to the ground first, I could probably help. It's a bit of a risk, but I could probably help. I don't know that I could do 2 people though.
Could you ride like Triceratops down? Like Boskin could break your fall, probably a little bit.
6 p.m.
I don't. I I don't think that'll work, but I guess anything can be tried.
I mean, who else would be able to say they rode a Triceratops off of a floating island?
Well, it would be one wild way to die.
No, I'll
I
keep you
mean,
from
yeah.
dying too much.
No, it'll be fine. It's going to pay. This is going to be worth its weight in free beer. It's going to be great. We will have so many wonderful stories.
Just make sure you hold on very tightly, and I can help Reverie. Make sure he doesn't go splat.
Uh-huh.
Trust us, we have
Yeah.
magic. We know what we're doing.
Hey, don't we have some of those pastries that make you small?
You could ride inside of the Triceratops mouth.
No, I think we all took the pastries.
Oh, we took the flying ones. We still have the small ones.
Oh, you want me to become small?
Yeah, then you could
Yeah.
ride Bob, and then I can just fly down on my own. I've got my own wings.
So I'll be a tiny meteor instead of a big one.
Well, you ride Bob.
Be
Yeah,
a smaller splat.
But Bob flies, so it could be fine.
All right, sure. Yeah. Just gonna put this backup character away.
Well, because Reverie's not here tonight, they're the one who gets the experimental ending.
I'm gonna put the backup character away real quick. Okay. Sure. If we have any of those small potions left, sure.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Just don't put your hands under the fourth feather on Bob's back, because then he'll throw you off and you'll go splat. But as long as you don't do that, you'll be fine.
All right. Big splat or little splat. Nice. Know all my options now.
I mean, what sounds cooler? Oh, I got really small and I flew down on the back of a little bird. Oh, it's a great time for everyone. So nice and peaceful. Or I rode back. I jumped off of a cliff on the back of a Triceratops. No magic, no bullshit. Landing on the ground. Yeah? One is much more exciting.
I might do that anyways, just because it's fun. I mean, I'll fly off before you land, because I'm squishy, but I might just ride down anyways.
Well, it doesn't matter to me as long as the second half of the sentence is, and I lived to tell the tale.
Oh, don't worry, I won't let any of you die.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll help too.
So pass me the potion of smallness.
Do you really need bones to live?
Yes.
Oh, well, that might be a problem. It'll be fine. Don't
As you say
worry
that-
about it.
Garvin says, "Oh, nobody told me that."
See,
Do we
Garvin's
want-
fine.
Do we want to try and deal with the creatures here first before we go?
Hey, Garvin, are these things on this island other beings trapped as, what you turned us into?
Well, if something comes to this island, it will inevitably fall under my spell. So, Garvin can only assume. The answer is yes.
Jinx is immediately looking for Jeffrey
Wow.
with an 11.
I think we can leave that one.
You do not see Jeffrey immediately wandering around the island, but there's still the trees over there. There's the mountain over there. He's not right in this general lake zone, though.
Okay. I think Jinx is going to fly around looking for him, like, with her sniper wand in hand. Clearly itching to fight something.
Okay, yeah, as you just go straight up and get yourself a little bit more of a surveying of the scene, you do catch Jeffrey, who is closer to the waterfall, not the one coming out of the mountain, but the one at the edge of the island on the far north side of the island. All the way down the river looks to be a giraffe just wandering around at this point.
Jinx calls down, I found him! Who wants to help me kick his butt? You know, out of compassion.
Yes, we should try and free everyone here. And then if they don't want to be free, then we leave them here and they'll probably fall back under the magic. That sounds
Sure.
right.
How many
But-
we talking about?
Well, we saw at least a handful of creatures.
Oh yeah, there's another Triceratops over there, and one on top of that tree. That one's trying to be sneaky, and he knows that I know that he knows that I know that I know that he saw me, and I saw him too. There were some guys who were looking for this other Triceratops. There is a lot of Triceratops on this island, and I don't really understand why. So I mean, like, yeah, we can.
I mean,
I'm cool. We can. I'll step on them, sure.
I mean, above the table, how often as a party in D&D do you get a good reason to indiscriminately kill everything in sight?
Well, I am wondering, are these battles or is this going to be like a montage? Like a killing spree montage? Like, what is this going to look like?
That's what you end up doing.
Like, you get to kill everything in sight as a mercy.
We're not
Oh
killing
my
them, we're
God.
putting them back into their proper shape.
Quote unquote kill them. We take them to 0 hit points.
It's like a minor regeneration, you know, like from Doctor Who. We're transforming them from one to the other.
I mean, if they have 1 hit point, then we're not. We're just.
Oh, that's true. We don't know what they were before this. But if we do too much,
Anyone got a club? Pretty sure it's hard to kill with a club.
well, if we get some of them grouped together, I can do larger amounts of damage.
Yeah, and as long as they're not, like, all the way dead. Like, if they're just mostly dead, I can make them, stabilized.
That's true.
I've got my fancy Raven Queen magic.
That's true. And then we'll leave them here and they can wake up in a few days. It'll be great.
Yeah. See, there's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
Uh-huh. So are we rounding up animals?
Jinx is already on her way to go fight Jeffrey, the giraffe. So whoever's coming better come on.
I will come as soon as my seal skin is fixed.
Sure, I'll come fight the giraffe.
Best day ever. Do we need to roll initiative?
We will, actually, yes. So let's say this is that whole conversation took the rest of the hour. The seal skin is fully healed as you all decide to head off. You do know where Jeffrey is currently, as you all just decide to go kick this giant giraffe's ass right now. It doesn't take you long to find him. You follow the river all the way down, and there he is. Currently, not really looking in your general direction. There is a giraffe right over there. It doesn't see you, though. What do you want to do first?
Jinx is just gonna get to about what's the range on this? I think 240 feet away, roughly.
Wow.
And just start wailing on him with Eldritch Blast.
Okay. So if there's any sneak attack or because he does not see you right now, he's looking in the other direction. Go ahead and roll both of those for me.
Okay. Does that mean I get advantage on that then if he has no idea it's coming?
Yep.
All right. So at my current level, Eldritch Blast uses does 2 blasts. So that is a 26 and an 18.
Both of those are going to hit.
And there's 1 and 2, so 24 damage total.
As you hit both of these Eldritch Blasts, they slam into this giraffe as it whips its head around, still up. But it looks like it took a big hit. As it whips around its head, it knows exactly where you all are.
All right.
You're still about 240 feet away from it, though. If anybody's doing another action right now, before we roll initiative, it still is surprise.
I'm gonna. Surprise.
Not
Well,
at
it still is-
240 feet.
In surprise round at the point. Yeah, you're about 240 feet away, so
I guess the rest
Wow.
of you could have gotten closer.
So far.
But that's where I'm
That's-
staying.
I'm so far. I will move. I'll use my movement bonus, just full action to move 90 feet of this 240 feet to math. Be 130 feet away.
okay.
That's my surprise round.
All right.
I'll move with Dram, but stay 30 feet back.
Okay.
I will also move forward with action and dash, or with movement and dash. That'll be 100 feet.
All right. You are the closest one, about 140 feet away. Now, I need everyone to roll initiative.
9.
Oh, 21.
Wow.
Nice.
In a battle I don't actually want to go first in.
That is going to be a 14 for me.
Right. And that'll be it for today. All right, Ruli, you're about 160 feet away, roughly. What would you like to do first? There's a giraffe. It definitely sees you. It's not happy. It just got hit by 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Yeah, I'm going to look and see where the straight line is. So it's gonna be running towards us. What's the range on this? 30 feet. I am going to run. Oh, I really hope it doesn't go next. I'm going to run. Yeah, I'm going to run action dash, run 60 feet forward, which
Okay.
will put me 20 feet in front of Bask.
Uh-huh.
Triceratops Bask. I'm going to spend a sorcery point to quicken shape water, and I'm going to pull water out of my seal skin and 30 feet in front of me, freeze it across the ground in the line that Jeffrey's going to be running at us in.
All right.
So there's a 5-foot cube, so basically 5 feet square of ice, 5 foot by 5 foot, I guess, square of ice on the ground.
Okay.
We all know
Excellent.
giraffes' thin legs are very sturdy on ice. But yeah, that's everything I have.
Wonderful. Up next is Bashkin. You're Triceratops. You're running. What are you doing next?
Oh, I am going to move 50 feet forward,
Okay.
and then I will hold an action because I don't know how fast this thing is going to be. So I'm going to hold my. I'm going to. We'll go 60 feet. I think we'll
Okay.
go 60 feet and just hang back a little bit.
All right.
If you go 60 feet straight, you're gonna hit the ice. Just
I
you
will
would have
go-
seen me
I will
put
go
it there. so-
55. I'll go 55 feet then.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Dram, you're up.
Still 130, right? 130 away.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, so I will action 30 feet to get action and bonus action. Bonus action to dash and get to 70 feet.
Yep.
My math, jeez. And then I will pull out my short bow.
Okay.
And fire.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll it.
Fire the short bow. Oh, ooh, okay. Nice. Oh, sorry, does 19 hit?
A 19 does hit. Yes.
And that's a big old 6 points of damage.
All right. As your arrow flies through the air and pierces this giraffe, you see what you've seen a couple of times before, where instead of your friends turning back from the animals that they were into their natural forms, this thing does the same thing. As this arrow pierces the giraffe, and it both pops and grows at the same time as you see it start to shift. And the height of this animal does not change, but the width of this organism does, as it becomes a much, much wider organism. It has two big, long arms that stick out from the base of it, as these arms are no longer covered in very thin fur, but in a very tough looking exoskeleton, as it stands in front of you with these two massive pinchers. Face grew out a little bit, and these long tentacles start coming out of its face as it stands on now still 4 legs. You have a massive arthropod in front of you. Really, go ahead and make a history check or a nature check. Ugh.
Nope, that's a 4.
You've heard about big crabs before. This ain't no crab. It looks kind of like it, but it is much bigger. It has multiple legs, and it is very, very mad. Jinx, this thing just transformed right in front of you. It is now a massive crustacean-like creature, big claws, moving tentacles all over the front of its face. What would you like to do now?
So the first thing that happens is Jinx is looking at this thing, is like, oh, that is so cool. Could I make a nature check to see if I know what it is?
Yes, you may.
21.
21. Wow. Yeah, you've heard of these before. You haven't seen one yourself because they don't typically live in the forests of Elastadir. In fact, they don't really live in the forests of Elastadir, but you've heard about them from other folks. This is a chull, and it is a very large, crab-like, very evil organism, and it is mad at all of you specifically right now.
All right, Jinx is gonna call out and be like, "Yep, very bad thing. We should kill it. It's gonna do very bad things to everything on the island." And then I'm gonna guess, since it looks the way it does, that perhaps it doesn't like fire. And I'm gonna try to throw firebolt at it.
Okay.
With a 19.
A 19 does hit.
For 14 fire damage.
Okay.
Then which one is it? That is a bonus action. I'm going to do Sanctuary on myself.
Okay.
And I will throw that out there. Yeah, we'll do it at spell. Spell level 1. And that will be my turn.
Okay. As this large creature turns towards you all, it starts to make a sprint, a beeline, right towards you, Baskin, as it is going to take its full 30 feet movement and look around. See, the thing that hit it was actually not. It rolled pretty well on this intelligence check, surprisingly. Was not the Triceratops, but rather the smaller thing behind it, as it is going to continue to move another 30 feet in a slightly not straight direction, but a little bit more off to the side, which is going to currently miss the ice, but the ice is still around. The Chull is not within striking distance from anybody, but it is significantly closer to all of you at this point now. Ruli, you're up.
Where are we on the island? How close are we to the waterfall going off the edge? How close are we to any of the edges? What's the geography look around us?
Excellent question. So the the Chull, was really hanging out closer towards the waterfall, so that is back to where they were originally coming from. You are all moving closer to that side of the island. The river is to your left. The edge of the waterfall is about, from where you all are, about 200 feet forward still. You are meeting this thing kind of at the middle. So from where it is, it just moved 60 feet forward. So it would be currently about 80 or so feet from the edge by the waterfall.
So you said it's 80 feet from the edge of the waterfall?
80 feet from the edge, but it's running towards you. And you are about 200 feet from the edge. Maybe a little less than that. But it was hanging out close to the waterfall. Yeah.
Trying to do math. Have to use geometry in D&D. Okay, it's running straight for me or for Jinx?
Well, it's running actually towards Dram, because that's the one that shot it last. Okay. But you were all kind of in the same general group of an area.
Okay. If it runs towards Dram and stops in front of him to attack him, how far is it from the edge of the waterfall?
By that time, depending on if Dram moves or not, that would be probably about 120 feet from the waterfall.
Okay. I'm going to yeah, I need to get into place. So I'm going to check the range on this again. 90 feet. Let me get within. Yeah. So I am going to action dash, and I'm going to run past Dram, and just yell out, "Hold it here when it gets here." And I'm going to keep running, and I want to avoid it. So I'm also going to bonus action Misty Step as well. So I'm going a total of 90 feet. And I want to avoid it completely, but I want to get on the other side of it.
Yeah, with Misty Step, you are definitely able to jump around this thing. Absolutely.
And I am, at that point, 110 feet from the edge of the waterfall?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. That's my turn.
All right, excellent. Baskin, you're up.
Okay, cool. So about how far away is Baskin from the spot that really wanted us to keep it at?
No more than 15, 20 feet.
Okay. In that case, Baskin is going to kind of circle around a little bit, and yell some kind of hurtful things in Draconic, hoping for the best, and will hold his action to charge if it comes into that range, into the area that Ruli was talking about.
All right.
No, charge is not an action. Nope, never mind. We'll stay like 60 feet away from that spot.
Okay. You can definitely set yourself up in that position for sure. Dram, this thing is running right to you. What do you want to do?
Oh boy. All right. Dram is gonna have a little faith. He's gonna move to the spot that Ruli indicated. While he's moving the whole time, he's just going, Whose idea was this? Whose idea was this? Whose idea? Whose idea? Whose ideas? Whose idea? And then he's going to stand there. He's gonna stand there, and if I need to dash together, I'll use my bonus action. With his action, he will simply dodge. He'll take the dodge action.
Okay. All right. Jinx.
Just closing his eyes and sort of praying.
I love it. Jinx,
So
what are you up to?
Jinx is basically, just floating way up in the air. It is just cycling through the little settings on her focus wand doing so first was Eldritch Blast, then it was Firebolt, now she's throwing Ray of Frost at this thing.
Okay.
Oh no, not one.
Ooh. Wow. You still got an 8 though? Nice.
Yeah.
Still not going to cut it though, unfortunately. As your blast of Ray of Frost just bounces right off the exoskeleton of this thing.
Okay. Then let's see. Not a whole lot else I can do right now, I don't think. So I think that will end my turn.
All right. As this thing does not relent, it is going to run directly at you, Dram, as it continues its movement and gets right up next to you. It's going to make two pincher attacks at you. Oh, that's not going to do it. That's going to be a 6. And that is going to be 14, which does not hit your AC. Plus, you were dodging anyway, so that was a disadvantage. It's not going to matter because they rolled really, really bad. You survived both of these attacks as this thing is right next to you. Baskin, you were holding your move, I think. No, you revoked that. Yep, never mind. This thing is right, exactly, in front of you, Dram. Really, what do you want to do?
Yeah. So on the other side of it, I'm going to start singing my Silky Song, the song from my rookery that is very much a horror story if you can understand it. That is going to give the troll a minus 1d6 on their next saving throw. Come on. Yes. -5 on their next saving throw.
Oh, okay.
And I am upcasting this spell so it has an increased range. I'm going to spin the sea mist and ice around this troll. It needs to make a Constitution saving throw as I cast Vortex Warp.
Okay. That
-5.
-5. He's getting a 5.
Oh, just 5 total?
Yep. I rolled a 7. He got +3. -5. It's a 5.
Yes. He disappears, and I have to put him into liquid that will support him, or ground that will, or a surface that will support him. So I'm going to put where the waterfall goes off the edge and hits a 90-degree angle. I am putting him in this water right here.
Love it. Absolutely. As this thing bamfs away, and it is going to roll a 3 on its dexterity saving throw. As this thing is going to apparate as you hear it, not in any language that any of you can understand, but you hear this noise as you see it try and grab at the rocks that pull off as this thing gets pushed by the water and vanishes out of sight.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, great. That was really fun. Wait.
Well, we still have other stuff to fight. This way we didn't waste all of our resources on this scary thing.
Drum just drops to his knees really quick. And just sort of takes a couple deep breaths.
Did an amazing job, Dram. You just stared it down while it was in your face.
I mean, I guess I wasn't done shooting it, but I guess there's other things that we can fight.
I'm sure it's still falling. You could probably still shoot it.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Jigs is gonna like rush over to the side to try and see if she can still hit it.
You absolutely can see this thing. It is plummeting in midair. It's still within your range, though, Jinx.
She's gonna take another couple of pot shots at it as it falls.
Roll them.
Let's go. We'll cycle back to Eldritch Blast.
All right.
So that is 25 and 18.
Yep, both those are gonna hit.
That's 9 and 10. So 19 total.
Okay, both these definitely make contact as you hear more as this thing falls even further away from you.
Ha! I hit it a couple more times.
As you continue to watch it, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna say she'll keep shooting as long as it's in range.
you have a couple of turns where you can keep blasting away at it, especially in your range. So,
All right,
As you-
let's do
Yeah.
Firebolt next. Oh my god, nat 1.
well,
And then you said you get like 2 more attacks.
mhm.
We'll cycle back to Ray of Frost. 9.
Oh,
So
get a
no.
little bit further away.
I
It's getting a little bit more difficult
was gonna say that seems fair.
as you watch it disappear into the tree line of Elastir. As you do notice that you are still above the forest, although you look, and this island is quickly approaching fields of golden wheat and no trees. You see the very distinct line that this island is heading in that direction. It should be there at the speed that you're looking within the next hour or two. So you got, depending on where you want to get off, you got a little time limit.
Okay. Jinx will relay that to everybody. Hey, we're getting kind of close to the next realm. We got like maybe an hour, like 2 tops before we're in there.
Well, we're supposed to go to where the realms meet. Does the island look like it's going in that direction?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
19.
So as far as the specific area where Garvin has told you go to where the realms meet, that is, you can kind of see a general area from way up where you are, and this island is not flying in that general direction. Actually, it looks like from where you are, it's flying, if it goes in a straight line, out in the way, you can see that it will pass over a lot of field, but it will also end up, if it's just heading in a beeline that direction, there's mountains off in the distance over there. But it's not specifically heading in the way that Garvin was telling you.
If we're going to jump, it might be better to do it in the fields instead of a forest.
That makes sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, that is fine with me.
Are we going to try to help the other creatures here? Or are we afraid they're all going to be like that thing?
They're fine.
Because I can't keep fighting and jump and save me and Reverie.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can leave him be. I'm sure there'll be more interesting things to do in the fields. It's not like, only interesting things happen on floating islands with magical spells that transform people into, various creatures that are really fun to fight or anything.
Oh well, if I am just going to be jumping off the side of this island, then I need to sit and kind of catch my breath for a second. But hey, did anyone think to ask if Garvin, Garvin's boss, had said anything about like, man, I fucking hate Oberon, fuck that guy? Maybe if he had overheard anything like that.
I asked him that earlier. Garvin didn't seem to know who Oberon was.
Oh. Well. Okay.
So yeah, we can take a break. We've got like an hour or two.
Hey, you think it's rude to ask if Garvin has any magic weapons lying around?
It's probably not rude.
You know, I'm still using normal equipment against, well, you just saw what we're up against. Not to mention the dragon.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? I'm kind of bummed out that he wasn't a real dragon, you know? Like, I thought this was gonna be a really cool day, and it turns out he's just a sea squish. I don't know. Okay, cool. I beat a sea squish. That's really great. Yeah, nobody's gonna take me seriously over that. That's ridiculous.
Don't worry, we have creative license, so we could just make him a real dragon in the story.
And he was a dragon when you fought him.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Triceratops now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we also don't mention that you were a Triceratops.
I mean that part is actually pretty cool. I think that's maybe the only thing that right now gives it any air of legitimacy.
And you did so single-handedly.
Well,
Or
don't you fucking dare tell anyone that I said this. Raichi did help.
that's
Of course
true.
he did. Of course he did. Familiars are a very important part of adventuring parties.
As Ruli says that, Jinx will give Bob the Raven a little pat on the wing.
Was there anything we needed to ask Garvin? I can go down to the bottom of the lake and ask.
Oh, weapons for Jam.
Weapons, yes.
And
Ask if there's anything magic around here that I can use.
Reverie could probably use something like that too. We should probably ask for both of them. Yeah.
Okay. I will dive down into the lake and swim down until I find Garvin, if I can find Garvin.
Okay. As you dive into the water, go make a perception check as you look around.
$11.
Yeah, so it's not super dark down here. It is still the same type of water, very, very nice salt water. And you can see so well, actually. There's not a lot of light, but to you down here, feels very comfortable. As you know that what you're looking for, you know kind of what algae he would be wanting to go to. He already told you kind of where he would be. As you swim down, you do see that there's a lot of stuff down at the bottom of this water. The bottom of this lake is littered in things. Some of these do look mundane. There looks like boxes and barrels and broken pieces of wood and sunken types of little tiny rowboats. But there's also, as you clock, a couple of other different objects as well, including a handful of different weapons. Whether or not they're magical, still up to be seen. But you do know that there is stuff down here. As you do ultimately find Garvin, who is hanging out on a little patch of very, very bright, vibrant green algae that is kind of growing up on one of these barrels, as he just turns his entire body in your general direction and says, "Oh, welcome. Who are you?" One more time.
Am I able to speak underwater in my humanoid form?
Oh, you're still in your humanoid form? Then he does
Yes.
recognize you. As I believe, as a Selkie, I don't see any reason why not,
Okay.
honestly. or at least communicate in some way down in the water.
Yeah, I do have different things like Speak with the Sea, where I can communicate through sounds and gestures. Anything that has a swim speed, and then of course, if they are an air-breathing water mammal, then I also have that ability as well.
Well, Garvin does have a swim speed, and you can communicate to him in that manner as well.
Well, if I can talk to him though, be like, we were wondering if for our quest, if you had any items we could use, like weapons or armor or anything that might give us a bit of an edge. And I saw all this stuff over there. It looked like maybe no one's using it, or it might be your hoard. I'm not really sure, but do you have anything we might be able to borrow?
Oh, maybe. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Okay. $17.
All right. As he says, oh, well, whether or not things are going to be useful depends on your creativity. However, there are some things down here that might be more useful than others. And he swims off a little bit. As you follow him, he touches on a couple of different things. The first one he touches on is his barrel and says, this barrel is very good for growing algae. Over here, and the next one he shows you is a kind of curved short sword that you didn't really see before, but as he moves it around, all of the silt just sloughs off of it, and it is currently glowing a little bit. So there is a glowing short sword down there as well. And he says, I don't know what this one does, but it won't stop making light. And sometimes it gets a little bit tiring. Feel free to take this if you would like to.
Okay. Yeah. Some of our party members may enjoy this. They know a bit more about swords than I do.
And this thing, and he sits over on an arrow that you see is in pristine condition. Well, I will be honest, I have tried to make this usable for myself, and I cannot seem to snap the shaft in half. So maybe it will bring you a little bit more usefulness than it's brought me. Besides that, he doesn't really point out any other objects. What you do see down below, though, are just a lot of stuff. One thing also catches your eye. He doesn't point this one out, but it is a orb about this big that is kind of sitting at the bottom of the water, close off to the side of where he had the barrel itself. It is also similarly giving off a little bit of light as well, but he doesn't necessarily point that one out. You do see it, though.
I will point to it. How about that? That one looks really pretty.
Oh, well, I cannot give you this one. This is mine. However, really, go ahead and make a history check for me.
Great at those. I don't think I've rolled above a 4 on a history check in this campaign yet.
Well, we'll see. Do you actually? No, just roll a straight history check.
Hey, a 12.
All right.
That's a huge win for me.
That's a huge win. You rack your mind, and actually you kind of recognize this, as there's a little bit of a crack through it, but this, as far as you can tell, looks exactly like or very similar to a gem that was placed at the top of the Sylvanthus portal. So each one of the realms, remember, has a different portal. That is how everybody else that's not from those realms was able to jump between them.
That's really interesting. Where did you find something like this?
Well, this one was gifted to me by the Big G.
Interesting. Well, we definitely wouldn't want to take yours. Is there anything else that might be of help to us?
Well, if you are... What are you doing, if I may ask?
We are just trying to figure out what's going on. So we just want to talk to your friend and get the information.
Oh, my friend. Do you mean the Big G?
Yes.
Big G is more than just a friend, I suppose. Big G is everything. And at the same time, nothing that you are. It is interesting. I do not have the answers myself, but if you are heading off to go find the Big G, Garvin wishes you the best of luck. And if you find him, tell them Garvin says thank you and hello.
Absolutely. I'll look around. I want to do one last pass for like jewelry or like a circlet or crown or anything, because I know that my old adventuring partners always looked for jewelry in the anytime we found treasure or a hoard. So just trying to stick to that, to what I've learned, just kind of scan around and looking for it.
All right, make a perception check.
Oh, 8.
8. Looking around, there's not a lot of jewelry down here specifically. Nothing really that's like a fancy bling, or besides that big orb crystal, it looks like all the stuff down here is either wood or steel. There's a couple of tarnished weapons, a couple of rusty items, but besides, like, there's no big fancy like pieces of jewelry or anything like that. At least from your cursory glance, you didn't really dig through the silt really, but just with looking around, nothing's just really out in the open.
Okay, well, that's fine. I will take the items that he offered. Well, it's very nice to meeting you. I think we're going to be leaving soon. So, enjoy your journey.
Thank you. Garvin has been very much intrigued with all of the realms to be seen. Garvin is very excited to see Umbervale specifically. Garvin has never seen the mountains before.
Well, we can see them in the distance, so I think by the time you're recovered, you'll have a good view.
Garvin is most excited by this. Although, I hope my other friends are having as good of a time as I am.
Hope so. If we see any of them, we will let them know that you're thinking of them.
Garvin would most appreciate this. Thank you.
And I will swim back up to the surface.
All right.
Coming up, I'll toss the items out on the shore. There's some stuff.
Just like that.
Just like what?
Oh. All right.
There was one thing he didn't let us have. You know the portals that used to exist between the realms? They all had a crystal with them, and he has Sylvanthe's crystal. It's cracked. and he said that Big G gave it to him. I think that might have something to do with the realms coming together.
I'm really curious who this Big G is.
Same. But we should find out soon. That's where we're heading.
It's the big guy. Sorry, something in my throat right there.
But yeah, he did give us this sword, and what was, I already forgot what the other thing was.
So he gave you a slightly curved, glowing short sword and an arrow.
Yes, an arrow. This arrow, he said, is very special. He can't break it, and it does seem pretty strong. I'm assuming I can't break it. I have a 7 strength.
Yeah, it's very tough.
Seems very strong. I have no use for either of these, but if anybody else does.
All right. I pick up the sword that is shining.
Okay. You have sword. It feels cold to the touch. Not because it was in the water, but it's just a cold blade.
Well, it lines up with my body heat, so that's one thing in my favor. I'm gonna try to like make a makeshift strap so it's on my back because it's always lit, so it's shining off the back instead of in my face.
All right. Yeah, you're able to wrap some cloth around it for sure, and that'll definitely dim the light that is happening on this blade for sure.
All right, and I think Rev already has a bow, right?
I think so.
I mean, I have a bow as well, but could be an option.
Okay. As you disperse a couple of these different items and discuss what you're going to do next, we're going to go ahead and take a break right now. And when we come back, we're going to decide what's happening next, see maybe some other organisms on this island, or maybe just go for a free fall. We'll figure it out when we come back in a little bit.
Be right back. Okay, and we are back.
Wonderful. Well, let's jump back into it. You're deciding what you're going to do right now. You just talked to Garvin, who is at the bottom of the lake right now, feeding on algae. And after fighting Jeffrey the giraffe, who turned out to be Jeffrey the Chill, a big, large arthropod-like creature that, after a very careful planned session of very quick moves, was teleported right off the cliff, right off the edge of this floating island, plummeting into the forest of Elastir as Jinx took a couple pot shots at them, just to add a little bit of good measure on there. Now, you are just got some magical items from talking to Garvin. You have a curved, shiny blade and what is claimed to be an unbreakable arrow. As you are all kind of around the lake at the moment, deciding what your next plan is, what your next goal is, you have about an hour or so until the island floats into the realm of Nymphindor. What would you like to do next?
I think Jinx is just going to take a short rest for the hour.
All right, fair.
Do I need to, I don't know, do I need to attune to the sword?
So this sword, let's see, does not require attunement. So you are good on that. This is a moon touch sword. So it is
Okay.
cool to the touch. It does, it is technically a magical item. So do keep that in mind. It doesn't have a plus anything to it, but it can create light. So this is a cold steel weapon. It has a 15-foot radius of bright light and then another 15-foot additional of dim light. If you need it. So it was constantly producing light down at the bottom of the water, and Garvin did want it gone.
All right, nice. Okay. I can work with that as long as it's magical. It's fine
Yep.
by me.
Yep.
I shall name thee Lightbringer. Sorry, that's just looks around. Nobody heard that.
Are you okay? There was something in your throat for a second there. It sounded.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm just remember what it was like to be happy. For all the voices.
Oh. Oh wow! You should go and talk to somebody, man.
And Baskin will just slowly walk away.
Jinx.
Dra-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
the Drab starts to walk away with his head in his hand, but it's to mask that PJ would just he was just lying about that. He doesn't talk like that. He never talked like that. But he looks a little taken aback.
Jinx is just like sitting on a tree branch or something like that, staring like blankly ahead, moving magic back and forth between her hands. Like complete deadpan stare straight ahead. But before Drab gets out of earshot, she goes, I think that sounds like a pretty cool name. Again, unblinking, just staring.
Yeah. Thank turns, sees Jinx just staring. Yeah. 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 It's gonna be over here. And I will move on my way. Actually, if I can do a short rest,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use Whispers of the Grave. With Whispers of the Grave, when I finish a short or long rest, I can choose one skill or tool proficiency that I lack and gain it. As a ghostly presence shares its knowledge with me. And that only goes away if I use this trait to swap to another proficiency or a tool. So I will take I'll take proficiency in investigation.
Man. As you sit for your short rests, you talked about the voices a little bit before, but now you actually do start to hear them. as they give you, whether or not it's good advice, it is helpful advice, and they tell you a little bit more about look underneath, look in between, look all of the places. And you do have an extra proficiency in that for the moment until you swap it to your next one.
All right. Then
I will.
Dram is just slowly, like half fetal positioned as he just listens to voices for a little while.
I'm gonna burn some sorcery points to get some spell slots back because I don't know what the rest of the day is gonna look like for us. And we've heard a lot about other people's other names. Jinx, do you have nicknames or other names or stuff like that?
Oh, sure. There's Jinxie, Hey You, Firebug. He called me a pixie stick once. I'm not sure what that was about because I'm not a pixie. Yeah, that's about most of them. I mean, Jinx is a pretty short and easy name anyway, so most people don't feel the need
That's
for
true.
give me one. But I like nicknames.
So, what's the plan for next? Just jumping off, right? Into the fields and then go from there?
I think so. I'm gonna ride on Boskin till we get to the ground, anyways.
Anyone got one of those mini potions?
Does Jinx have those pastries as well as everybody else, or did she not get any? I can't remember.
Wait, you did? We have one extra flying one.
Oh, that's
Now that I
right, we
think
do.
about
Oh my god!
Don't tell Dram.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's not. Jinx is gonna look at the box, and be like, see the flying one, and go, yeah, and then just quietly grab the small one. And
I
hand
mean,
it
if you
over.
gave me the flying one, then I could move more people around.
Dram starts to sweat profusely as the time to jump gets nearer and nearer. I thought we had a thing. Guys,
What thing?
you know, that makes you small.
Yeah, here you go. The Jinx hands one over.
Okay. I will. Is this a potion or?
Oh, it's like a little pastry.
Oh, it's a pastry. Okay. So I'll eat it. I forget what it does exactly.
All right. You pop the tiny one?
Yep.
All right. As you plop this one in your mouth, it tastes really good. It has a little bit of a ginger taste to it, a little spice, a little kick to it, as you're enjoying it. Before you know it, you look around and things are getting wonky for you as the trees are now expanding around you, and everybody is getting a little bit bigger. As you shrink all the way down, you are now size tiny.
As soon as like the transformation stops, Jinx just like runs and like tackle hugs Drams, like, yay, you're hug size. It's like that scene that's commonly gifted from The Office where like Michael just like tackle hugs Jim. It's like that.
Yeah, does not compute for Dram. You hug him and he doesn't really know what to do with that anymore. He just kind of, it's a blue screen and then just gives you the awkward like one hand pat on the back. Yeah.
She'll eventually let go and help you on to Bob the Raven. I think at that point, then she'll go like, oh wait, there's another pastry in here. Oh yeah, I've got a fly. Who else needs a flying one? I forgot this was in here.
Oh, well, if I take the flying one, then I can help Reverie and anybody else just in case something goes wrong. And that gives us a bit of a cushion just in case.
I hate to be this guy, I really do. But have you seen me? I am literally fucking huge. You could just sit on my back. Nothing would happen. It would be fine. Probably.
Well, my concern is with whoever's riding you holding on tight enough for when you hit that they don't go flying.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. I would be flying, so I would just gracefully, delicately, and
Oh,
Baskin, you'd be like a dragon.
yeah, but, not a wimp. Yeah, 100%.
I guess that would work. And it would be a smarter use of resources. Is this enough potion, though, for somebody as large as you? I don't know if
Probably.
potions are measured by weight or not.
I don't know either. Jinx is like, scratch your chin, like,
Well, worst case scenario, then we're back at plan A. So yeah, I think we give the potion to Tricerabasк, and then Reverie and I ride. And then if something goes wrong, Reverie and I will jump, and I'll use my magic to save us both. It'll be a little tighter since we're together. I was going to have Reverie wait 10 seconds after me, but I think I can make it work.
what's the worst that could happen?
We kill Reverie.
I mean, I can stop him from dying, like
That's true.
dying.
That's true.
We can set bones. It'll be fine.
Yeah. What's life without a few scars? We should do this before time runs out.
Okay. Really quick, just before we set off, Dram is kind of lost in his head, and just right before the Bob,
Yeah,
my
Bob.
head, right before Bob takes off, the last thing Dram says is, "Any tips for flying?"
Yeah, just don't scratch under that fourth feather, because its teeth ticklish, so he might buck you off.
Back after that, it's just
As soon as Dram's out of earshot, Jinx is gonna lead over to Ruli and be like, "Bob's not actually ticklish. I just said that to mess with him."
Ah,
I know our characters don't care, but just as a player, I'm curious, how far of a drop is it from this island?
Oh, yeah. So this island is a little ways up. It's about 500 feet.
Cool.
So, I mean,
Let's
assuming
do
you did
this.
take full damage, it would max out at 200 feet. But yeah, it's a little ways up there.
It's less high than I thought, but
It is a
still
little-
high enough.
Yeah, it's still not. It's not an easy drop. They're floating not super high. They're not like miles and miles up, but they are definitely taller than all of the trees. And even at the top of the tree, they're still at least minimum another 3 tree lengths up.
Okay.
But close enough to the ground where even when you were at the base in the forests of Elassidir, you could see the dirt essentially at the bottom of this island. You could see it. It wasn't very clear, but it's not like a speck in the air up there.
Okay, we should Tricerabask, do you need help drinking this because you don't have hands?
no, it's fine, probably.
Yeah, I'll just throw it in your mouth. You can chew.
Oh, okay.
Just throw the entire flask of potion into Tricerabas's mouth.
Yeah. Are you the flying one?
The flying one, glass and all.
So that flying one is actually a pastry. It is a tort. So it's a cream. It's like a cream bar essentially, and that's all of you popped one of those. You do have one left of that. The tiny one was a tart, so that had a little pastry shell to it and some cinnamonish filling in the middle.
Awesome. Well, then I will hop on Bask's back with Reverie and hold on tight.
Bask, and you gobble down that tort and delicious. Ah, the cream is so good. And you can take to the air.
Excellent.
Jinx is like literally bouncing in place and like practically vibrating with excitement, waiting to see Boskin take off.
And Boskin will walk back a couple of feet, because if we're gonna do it, we're gonna absolutely do it. And so I guess Amira, Ruli, and Reverie are all riding atop me, and so as I run, it will leap from the edge in as graceful of a leap as a huge lizard can, and in a moment of suspense, we'll go, "Oh shit!" And drop.
And plummet you do as you drop in the air. As you can catch yourself. How far are you dropping this in free fall?
We're gonna stop at like 200 feet.
Okay. Just a quick little plummet before you take off.
Just a little, like a cup of coffee. Just something to wake you up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a squeal behind you from Ruli, but it sounds like she's having fun and not scared.
As the lot of you, Jinx, you flying after him?
Oh yeah, she's just like diving straight down, giggling and laughing the entire time.
Wonderful. Dram attached to Bob, and Ruli, and Reverie, and Amira on Baskin's Triceratops back as Jinx floats out after all of you. You all descend, and you are now, as you're dropping down, you can see that the fields in front of you, the trees are behind you. You can actually still see them, but as you moved through the air, there was a very clear cutoff between the fields and the forest. Very, very straight line, or not a straight line, it's a very distinct line that goes all the way across. There are no trees on one side and there's no grass on the other. As all of you plummet all the way down, Baskin, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as you land. You have a few people on your back. Woof.
That'll be a 2.
Uh-huh. You see it? As you land, it is a little bit clunky. As maybe by yourself in your own natural state, you're more natural. You are now a larger organism, and you have 3 individuals on your back. As soon as you hit the ground, still going at your same momentum, you land in the realm of Nymphador and immediately turn back into you. As you bounce on the ground, and now 3 people bounce on the ground after you, and all 4 of you will take 4 bludgeoning damage as you just have a little impact on the ground. And I do need all of you to go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Question.
Answer.
Is it in reaction to a fear effect?
It is not.
Okay. 13.
Okay.
Also Jinx is like flying up going, "Oh my god, that was so cool!" You guys are fine, right? That was amazing!
Is this a magical effect? Or like, is this a spell?
This is not a spell.
Okay. Well, dang.
Okay. So out of the 4 of you who drop into the realm of Nymphador, Jinx and Ruli, you very clearly know what you're doing. You know your purpose. You know what's going on here. Baskin and Dram, as you land, and whether or not you got a little injured or not, you stand up and shake yourself off and look around you, and you are in a beautiful golden field. All of you are in this beautiful golden field. You can see the mountains off in the background. The sky above you is bright, bright blue. There's a few clouds in the sky. Those clouds are a very vibrant white. For those of you who are from Elassidir, where you just were, the sky above you was very vibrant pink, very much like a setting sun. This one is blue, crystal clear blue, and just immaculate clouds that cover up the air around you. As both Baskin and Dram, you feel a desire to roam. You feel a desire to explore. And whatever was happening before seems a little bit less important than exploring this cool new place. There's so many things you've never been to. There's so much space out here. Why would you stay in one spot when you could continue to keep moving? This is a new location for everybody. None of you are from the realm of Nymphindor.
Funnily enough,
Oh,
even though Jinx, it sounds like succeeded on that save, that's pretty much just her default anyways, and she's looking up at the sky and the clouds, and she's like, that's amazing. Do you think those are actually like cotton candy? They look like cotton candy. I wonder if I could get high enough to try one.
Possibly. We do need to keep moving though, because we don't know where the islands are going. We don't know what to expect.
That's true.
I know. I like to explore too, and it's not any fun not to, but we are on a mission.
Dram, as you are just looking around, over on that hill over there, something's caught your eye. As you see a very large, not large like size large, but definitely bigger than you are, bright pink orb that is just halfway up, halfway down the hill. It's not actively moving, but it is sitting there on this hill of golden grass.
Yeah, I dart off.
All right.
I'm capable of moving 90 feet and around. I'm off.
All right.
Where is he going?
It doesn't take you long at all to over this hill, and you get very close to this really big, bright pink. As you get a little bit closer to it, you know it's not completely smooth. It looks like it has. Make a nature check. Make a nature check for me, Dram.
Nature. Ooh, not in my wheelhouse. Oh, 13.
13. It kind of looks like this thing is made of plant in some way. There does look to be branches and vines, but it's still very, very tightly packed together. Now, as you get a little bit closer, you smell a very, very sweet smell as you get closer to this big pink orb.
I am reaching out. It's unbelievable.
Okay. You touching it?
Yeah, I'm touching it.
All right. As you put your hand on this thing, it is almost warm to the touch as your hand kind of goes into these branches, into these vines. It is sticky. As you can't pull your hand back out at the moment, without giving a little bit more effort. It's a little bit stuck in there right now.
I'm still sort of in a daze. Confused. I was meant to come here. So I put my other hand on.
Okay. As now both your hands go into this pink orb. As the rest of you do see that this is happening over there.
What you doing over there, Jam?
It's beautiful.
Does Jinx see the same thing?
Oh yeah, everybody sees this big thing, this
Okay.
pink thing, but Dram has both of his hands stuck inside of it now.
Ooh, it is pretty. I know this is going to sound very strange coming from me, but might not be the best idea to touch random things that we find here with both hands, at least. Maybe poke it with a stick first. What's it feel like?
Sticky, I think. It feels glorious.
Okay, your voice sounds a little like maybe you smoked the wrong kind of pipeweed there, or the right one, I guess, depending on your situation. But it seems like the wrong situation for that. You okay?
I'm fine.
I don't think he sounds fine. She whispers to the others.
I just start trying to like move my hands inside of the thing.
Oh, it feels so cool in there. It's like playing with like molding slime. It's really fun inside. Very, very tactile.
Sounds amazing. I don't think I've ever heard him laugh before.
Me neither. Maybe we should stay here for a little while and let him do this. It's nice to see him happy for a change.
That's true. Are there any sticks on the ground or anything like that? Or like a long piece of particularly sturdy grass?
There's definitely some sturdy grass as far as like sticks and twigs. There's not trees or bushes anywhere, but you can find a lot of grasses in this realm.
Okay. Jinx will pluck a piece of grass, use it like a reed or something like that, and kind of poke at the ball with the quote unquote stick.
Okay. Yeah, and it goes straight in pretty easily. But pulling it out, that's a bit more difficult. It does not come out.
Uh-oh. Jinx is gonna quickly let go of the grass.
And it's just sticking straight out, right where you left it.
So I couldn't pull that out. This might be a problem.
As
Possibly.
really, you look around and you notice up at the top of the hill. Remember, we're halfway in between. At the peak of this hill, you see another one of these pink orbs slowly rolling up the hill. Looks like it's cresting over.
Like
It's now
coming
coming
towards us.
Yeah, kind of in your direction.
Oh, if these are really sticky, that might be a problem.
Oh, no, there's no problem. It's fun.
I think maybe we should move.
Feels so weird in here.
I think we should move.
Am I only compelled to touch this thing? DM,
Was that
am I only compelled to touch this thing?
not necessarily? You are compelled to explore,
Okay.
whatever that means for you.
All right.
You know,
Well, it's a lot of fun.
I know that's clearly like dangerous, and I couldn't pull the stick out, and it's clearly doing something to Dram, but I really want to lick it. Like, wonder what it tastes like. I'm not going to, but
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
I really want.
I understand. I understand completely. But I don't think it's a good idea.
You're right. See, this is why we need you, really. Not all of us have good oh, what did my parents call it? Impulse control.
Well, it's less that. And I've been caught in traps before, and she kind of holds up her scarred arm. It's not fun. So we Sometimes a little bit of being careful is important. And I think right now might be one of those times.
That's fair. Well, if it's sticky, I've got this pitcher plant that can make different liquids. Maybe we can make some like oil or soap or something that can help get his hands out of there.
Maybe. Ask, can you pull him out? You're
And
the strongest of us.
Bask is like 50 feet away, just looking around and like impatiently glancing behind and going,
Hey, what the fuck is everyone doing? There's so much to go and look at, and we're just going to stand here and look at the fucking flower? Oh, great time. Let's go already.
We need help.
You
Come
should
help us
try
and we can go.
this.
Don't try it, but help us.
Okay.
ugh. And we'll walk over.
As the pink orb at the very top of this hill that you're on is slowly rolling now in your general direction, as really you notice that there's another one over the other hill that is also heading down in your general direction.
There are more. We need to leave.
Drem says, "Ooh," and tries to remove a hand to reach out for another one.
All right, make a strength check for me, Dram.
Oh, pure strength. Cool.
Yep.
And I'm
Okay.
backing up in a direction that is safe.
This can only end well.
Yeah, that makes full sense.
Yeah, as you try and pull your hand out to go touch the other one, wow, they're both in there. It feels cool as hell, but they are both stuck.
What a shame. Can I move with these on my arm?
Technically, if you are strong enough to drag this thing, if you're trying to move, make another strength check as you try and drag this thing with you.
Yeah. Abiding by the explorer. I will once. Dram's like, oh, that's a shame. Oh well, and then tries to move with it on his hands. Yeah, no, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean you're pretty stuck, but after a couple of shoves, it starts to move a little bit. It's pretty heavy, but you're trekking a little bit. You're moving about 5 feet per turn right now. You have a speed of about 5 right now.
And Dram is moving towards the other one.
Up the hill or to the other hill?
Up the hill. I want to see what's over that hill.
All right. Yeah.
Oh,
You're dragging this thing up
Ask.
as this
You know,
other
it'd be
one's rolling towards you.
We can go explore more if we can get Dram out of the ball. But we have to get Dram out of the ball first. Then we can go explore.
Oh, okay. So what do you want to put? I'm really not that fucking strong. I can try, but I
It's
can
really
knock him
cool.
out.
that doesn't work. I have an idea.
I mean, I can use a spell. It's just I'm low on spells.
Okay, sure. I guess I'll try a thing.
This does look like a plan, right?
From what you've heard from other folks, a little bit. You have not investigated yourself, but yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna run off the assumption that it's a plant then, and Bask will take a deep breath in and do a one of the Ascendant Dragon monk breaths out and do a 30-foot line of fire over the ball, trying to, not get Dram as much as possible, but sometimes things explode.
Okay. The orb rolled a natural 20.
Oh no.
Oh.
So what's your damage on that?
The damage is going to be 2d6 fire.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
Gotcha. Where are we at? That's going to be a 9.
Okay. You definitely blasted it. As the fire goes away, some of the grass around the area is on fire a little bit. A little smoke coming up from the the dry golden grass that's around you. But as far as this big, pink, sticky, kind of like tumbleweedy looking thing, it looks pretty okay right now.
I have an idea. So, there was this game that I saw in one of the cities once. It was this little town, and I went into this tavern, and they had this really neat table set up with like there was like holes in each corner, and then like 2 on the sides, and they had these little like ceramic balls that they would roll around. And my blast spell does force. Wonder if I could do the same thing and like knock it towards the direction that we want to go. Basically, Jinx wants to play pool with these things.
Is Dram the cue ball?
Attached to the cue ball?
Okay.
Is that something that she can try to do?
Absolutely. If you got force power, you can push this thing in any direction you want to go. Assuming it hits. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, we're gonna do like one blast instead of both barrels on this one. 26.
Yeah, that's gonna hit for sure.
And she's like not quite point blank, but like only maybe 10 or 15 feet away. So for her, that's like really close. Do you want me to roll damage or?
Yeah, go ahead and just roll it. See what damage it is.
13.
13. Okay. And your goal is to bounce them like pool balls?
Pretty much.
Okay.
She wants the Eldritch Blast to be like the cue stick hitting it.
As this Eldritch Blast hits point blank to this big sticky pink tumbleweed that Dram is currently stuck into, it moves and it rolls a little bit, shifts a little bit. Dram, you get taken away. You get taken with this thing as it moves off. You are stuck to it. It is not stuck to you. Oh my goodness, that's another nat 20. It is going to collide with the other one.
Oh no.
And with the force that you've hit it with, it's a weird. As you were expecting them to ricochet off each other, they merge into a much larger ball. As you see that now, Drams is a little bit more covered now than he used to be.
Okay, this is much worse. I think I need to fix this. I'm going to try and wrap the fog and ice around Dram. I'm going to attempt to vortex warp him 100, so 90 feet behind me, so 180 feet away from the balls. Like, Dram, trust me, just go with my spell, okay? It's going to be really amazing exploration.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I trust you. Sure.
Okay. If he chooses to fail, then it just works automatically.
Yep. Dram, you've been now shunted up this hill. You've ran into another one of these pink orbs. Amazing. As now this feeling of squish is around your arms and your elbow and one of your legs, and it's kind of encroaching on part of your face a little bit, and it's very, very, very comfortable.
Oh, so nice.
But as Ruli casts this spell, and you can choose to fail it as well, the air does whip around you, and you are removed from the sticky mess that you are just caught in as you teleport over and back on the top of the hill where you have just originally landed. You are now out of the sticky mess.
That was awesome.
You're welcome. I feel like we should get very far away from these balls.
That's
So
fun.
you have one very big pink one and one medium-sized pink one that's originally the same size as the other two, but now those other two have merged together. They're still moving in the area in the direction that you used to be in. So where you all are standing, not where Dram is anymore, though. They're not heading for Dram. They're heading for where he was stuck.
So we should move.
As fun as that was, I agree.
Come on, Bass, let's go exploring.
Down. Just run straight to a hill.
Vasquez already walking in a direction. Y'all are taking too long. Doesn't matter which direction, it's a direction.
Bass, there's something really cool in this direction. You should see it.
But what if there's something really cool in this direction?
That's a chance you'll have to take.
Ah!
We'll turn around and join everybody else.
I tell you what, I'll hop on Bob. I'll fly around up in the sky so I can see everything, and then I can tell you where the cool things are.
I mean, sure, okay, not really the same. It's fine. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Jinx will do that. 19 perception to see what's around us.
All right. As you and Bob fly up, you can see that there is definitely a mountain range behind you, or rather, it's kind of more in front of you. If you were to head directly towards the northwest, you would find mountains. If you were to head to the northeast, you would find the realm of Elassidir, which you do see just this big swash of trees that you recognize as your own forest. In front of you, towards the realm of Elassidir, there is, it looks like a little bit ways off, there is a river that is heading from the mountains into what you can see is still a little bit further off. What might be from where you are up top, a larger body of water. On the other side of the river, it looks like there are a few pretty far away, not super far away as in more than a day's travel, but a couple of hours walk at least to a few different trails. There's a couple of different pathways that you can see. From if you get high enough up, you can see that there is also, with a 19, there looks to be a little outpost about on the other side of the river. It looks like it would take you a couple of, not the rest of the day necessarily to make it there, but there's a couple of different tents and buildings, little, not big structures. They look more of like temporary things than anything else. But you see a couple of tents and a couple of other portable buildings that are on the other side of the river, which looks to be about an hour or two's walk from where you are.
Okay. She'll relay that information and suggest maybe going towards where the tents are.
You suggest that, and Drem speeds off. Come on, Bask.
Oh, that is very funny. Does he think that he is faster than me? He's not faster than me. Okay, let's do this then.
And Bask will dash off. I do believe Dram is actually a little bit faster than Bask.
Drem for sure cheated too.
Wait, no, how fast are you?
I have 30 feet movement, but I can move 90 in a round.
I have 45 feet. I can also do 90. Why curse your head start?
Yeah, Drem fully cheated.
I'm just making my way. I'm not anywhere near as fast as anyone else, so I'm just making my way as quickly as I can.
I'm just, making my way downtown, flying fast. These faces are passing. I'm, tent bound.
Okay. As you all very quickly or at your own pace take off towards the river, you start to just wander through the realm of Ninfandor as these hills are beautiful. There's tall, luscious golden and green grasses that flow over all of these rolling hills. There are wildflowers of thousands of colors. You see bright blues and pinks and purples and whites all across the hills, scattered in different forms. There's some very, very long plants that have bright blue flowers all the way up them. There's some others that have smaller flowers. There's some very wide ones as well. There's a lot of different types of plants in this area that you've never seen before. None of you have seen these types of plants before, either in the forest or the swamps or in the mountains or in the sandy areas of the tropics. This is a brand new area for all of you. You can see that, or as you walk around, the air hits you specifically as well. It's not what you're used to. It's not the fresh mountainy air. It's not the pine or the oak air. It's no salt. This is fresh, crisp air that feels kind of cold as you breathe it, which wakes you up at the same time as you all traverse over these next couple of mountains, or not mountains, hills, heading towards the river. As you make your way down there, grazing by the side of the river, you actually start to see a couple of different organisms, life here in Nymphindor. And you know that there are some things that you've seen before from this realm. You know centaurs are very, very common here in Nymphindor, but not very many other realms host a lot of centaurs. This, however, is not a centaur. There are, let's see, how many of these are there? There are about 10 of these large organisms that are armor plated. They have this large nose kind of horn that jumps out in two different ways. They have these big armored plates in their back. They are munching on grass right next to the river as you approach the area. The river itself is about 40 feet wide, so it's a little bit of a trek to go across it at the moment. Where you are right now, you do not see a bridge necessarily. You do see these organisms, these big kind of armored plated behemoths that are currently standing on the edge of the water. Some are drinking, some are munching on grass. They don't seem to pay you specifically any mind as you are now on this hill above them. The encampment is on the other side of the river, however. What'd you like to do?
We just have to get across the river. That should be pretty easy.
How far across is the river?
The river's about 40 feet wide here.
No more pig shenanigans.
I mean, so what are we going to just jump it, or are we going to swim?
I mean, it's only 40 feet.
Yeah, no big deal, right?
It's like a 6-second swim.
Yeah. I mean, no, but maybe.
Jinx is just like already on the other side because she just flew over and just like waving.
Oh, wait, for me, that's only a 3-second swim because I can action dash.
Could also Misty Step over most of it.
Yeah. I could. I'm getting low on spells, but I could toss some people over. People feel like they can't make it. I can toss 2, but that's most of my spells. I'll be very exhausted after this.
Just swim over. Why not? Sure. I'll give it a shot. I'll top in the river. Swim across 40 feet.
You are muted. Sorry.
As you jump in this river, no, thank you. It is not too cold. The water is not moving super fast. It's not like rapids or anything like that. And within a couple of seconds, you're able to move across this water pretty easily. You're drenched. It is very, well, you don't care. You're exploring. You made it.
Come on over. The water's fine.
Yeah, I also zip across the water because I have a 40-foot swim speed.
Okay.
Bask is going to see the two of them, out of the water and dripping wet, and like,
No, I think I'm fine. I bet I could jump it. Yeah, I beat the dragon down the other day. I could totally jump this. Yeah, yeah. Anybody want to bet that I can't?
Isn't Boskin still a Triceratops?
Not anymore.
Um,
No.
Okay.
So as Baskin landed onto the realm of Ninfandor, Garvin's magic stopped
Okay.
working.
I
Yep.
was just trying to match this Triceratops trying to jump a river.
Not anymore, no.
Okay.
While Bosky is preparing for the jump, Dram will turn his back to Bosky and just really quickly take his rope out and tie a little loop at the end, like a lasso loop, and just sort of hide it behind the back, just like, yeah, come on over, pal.
can't wrangle a Baskin.
I could also be a rescue seal. So
It's a life.
We'll have no faith, and Baskin will run forward and use Step of the Wind. But because he is a ascendant dragon monk, when he uses Step of the Wind, two shimmering draconic wings pop out from his back, and he just casually leaps over the river with about 5 feet to spare. It's like,
Told you I could fucking do it.
it was impressive. I mean, you stayed dry. I don't see the appeal in that, but it was impressive nonetheless.
Those wings
So
are pretty
what are it-
cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I've tried that a few times, and this is the first time it's worked. So feeling pretty good about that one right now. That was a
Congratulations.
gamble. Oh yeah, thank you. I just really, it's cold-blooded and cold water. Not really great.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm gonna discreetly slide that rope back into my pack.
Well, we should see what's in the camp.
All right. So the camp is still a little bit of a walk from where you are. And as you start to head over in that direction, there are no trails either. Right now, you are just walking through tall grass. And as you get a little bit closer to the direction that you're heading, Dram, you feel this first. And then Ruli. And Jinx, you don't feel this at all because you are in the air. The ground starts to shake a little bit and move, and you can't quite tell if it's from your walking or from what's around you. Dram, you feel this first as the one who's more perceptive and also more honed in on the ground itself. As the ground around you starts to vibrate as you're heading in your direction. Nothing yet, but you get a little bit of a tremor.
Oh, all right. Nothing to worry about. Let's keep going.
Okay. We trust you.
Who said there was anything to be worried about? That's kind of okay. Yeah.
As you all continue to walk, it takes another 5-10 minutes until you start to feel this tremor happening again. As nothing really happens at the moment. The ground shakes a little bit underneath you.
I'm sure that's natural.
What's natural?
The ground is shaking a little. Does that normally happen?
I'm not from here. I don't know. That seems like it wouldn't be normal.
Well, I'm no druid, but yeah, ground shaking doesn't seem like much to be worried about.
as you continue to walk. Another couple of minutes later, you feel another tremor as this time the ground around you starts to shift and starts to move as, let's see, I need Bastion to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Seventeen.
Right. 17, nice.
Yeah.
As from out of underneath you, the ground opens up as this sharp point, this silvery thing emerges from the ground beneath you as it flings itself 5, 10, 15 feet up into the air above all of your heads. You can now see this thing for its full shape and size. This is a large organism. It has a shining, shivering, splendid face and this really big underjaw. It has a couple of digging claws, no spines or things. It's completely smooth all around the back. It has a little bit of a tail as it has its back legs tucked underneath it, its mouth wide open as it sails up and over your heads as it plummets back into the ground, continuing to burrow.
All right, yeah, that's something to be worried about.
Do any of us recognize it?
Make a nature check with disadvantage for me, please, if you are trying to figure out what this thing is.
Would it not be something I may have seen on the material plane?
Oh, fair enough. Go ahead and roll it naturally.
I'm still shit at nature, so
Well. Oh no, that is bad.
if I have seen it before, I was probably eaten by it.
Yeah, maybe. Baskin, you do kind of recognize what this thing is. You've never seen one before. However, you put some pieces together in your brain and you realize that this was an ask from a little while ago that you have not actually accomplished yet. This is a bullet. It is a burrowing large organism. And as you look at this thing as it flies over your head, you never thought you'd see one necessarily in real life, but you do remember that the aunties have mentioned these things before, that they are large burrowing creatures that just like to hunt, but their claws are particularly useful in making potions and spells and other things that might be beneficial to the aunties.
Whoops, hang on everyone, really sorry. Quick moment, I gotta kill this thing. It's not anything personal, but it's kind of personal.
Oh, are we fighting?
I mean, yeah, it's been like 30 minutes since we killed anything.
Okay. Kind of exhausted from everything we've done today, but I'll try to be helpful.
As you don't see it right now, it is currently burrowed back into the ground. You can stick around, or you can keep moving.
So I'll bring out Lychee real quick. Who I hope is woken up by this point, and will, without telling him how the battle went or anything, I'll have to learn at a time when he's not so crestfallen that he didn't actually hurt a real dragon. I'll send him up and have him look around for any more holes like the one the bullet just left.
Okay, go and make a perception check for Lychee.
And that is a 21.
Nice. So on specifically this side of the river, you can see that there, as Lychee flies up, there's a handful of holes that spot around the edge of this side of the river. You can also tell from Lychee that there are not holes on the other side of the river at the moment. There are a handful of them here on this side, though. Looks like they are spotted all up and down this side of the water that you are currently on.
I mean, I guess we can go, but I do need to do a little bit of hunting around here. Looks like they're kind of here, there, everywhere, as long as where is this side of the river? So, I mean, we can go, but like if another one comes up and the opportunity is there, I do have to kill it, unfortunately, or at least disarm it, literally.
Okay. If that's why the ground was trembling, then it's probably going to find us again. DM, how close are we to the camp that we saw?
From the camp, you are about a 30-minute walk. You're pretty close to it, but you're not like right there. So it'd take a little bit of time still. You're about maybe, I don't know, a mile or so, maybe a little more.
It looks like these might be hunting grounds. So even if we make it to the camp before we see it again, I think it would be fairly easy to come back and hunt it once we've rested.
Okay. Sure, fine.
I know, but think about it as banking, fighting for tomorrow. So you guarantee fighting for tomorrow.
I mean, guaranteed fighting in 5 minutes too. But okay, yes, sure. I will take a little break, a little relaxation time for the Rue Lagoon. Okay, sure. We all just go and relax at camp. Sure, fine. Okay.
Don't have to be so mean about it.
But that was the best context I could try to do. You wanted the nicknames, and so I was trying Rue Lagoon. I don't know. It was the closest I needed an excuse. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever.
No, if you want to call me a nickname, my old adventuring party called me Biscuit. You could try that. But otherwise, I think we should keep moving. Because if we stand here, one of us is going to get eaten as that thing comes up from the ground again.
Okay, sure.
Okay. As you all keep moving, there is no more trimmers at the moment. As you take the next 30-minute walk or so, as you reach the top of this hill, you can now overlook where, well, you can see on the other side of the hill. You're about one hillside away from this little encampment that Jinx, you and Bob were able to see from the air above you. It looks like from where you are right now, there are about 4 tents. There looks to be a small campfire. This looks to be a very small settlement, very temporary, very easy to pick up and move somewhere else. But right now it looks like there's a little conclave of folks right here. From where you're standing, you can tell that there's movement. There are folks in this area, and Dram, you can see this very clearly. Really, you can also see these. The others can see that there are definitely centaurs here. This is a small group of centaurs. Dram, you can tell there are 3 centaurs that are currently in this area at the moment.
Yeah, Jinx will call down to everybody and be like, hey, there's more centaur friends. There's like, I think 4 of them or something like that. It's from what I can see.
Awesome. Hopefully they're as friendly as the last ones.
Yeah, they're great.
Okay.
I got a good feeling.
Well, I'll keep going towards the camp.
Yeah, Jinx is just flying along, trying to like keep up with everybody.
Okay. As you all head over to the little encampment, as you get a little bit closer, you can see that these centaurs are also wearing robes, very similar to the ones that you saw back in Iris, the ones that Marion and Ember were wearing. These are also similar colors in some aspects, but not in all ways. There's one that looks very similar to Miriam's coat. There's one that looks very similar to Ember's coat. And then there's another one. The third one is the smallest of the centaurs, and it looks to be wearing another kind of garb that is just a bright orange with no constellations on it at the moment. As you approach, you can see that they are all currently standing around a little table and a little map that, or at least something on the table. You're not quite close enough to figure out what exactly that is at the moment.
Yeah, as we get within earshot, I'm just waving, yelling, "Hello!"
As they did not see you coming at all, one of them whips around, the one that is still wearing the bright green with the blue constellations, looks around, and they have this really, really long mane that goes almost all the way down to where their second pair of legs begin, as they turn around to you and almost instinctively reach for their weapon, but see the lot of you and they don't pull it out right away as they turn over. The other two step off a little bit as they walk over to you and, "Hello.
Hi, your hair is very pretty.
Oh, thanks. Your hair is very pretty.
Thank you.
Who are you guys? We don't see a lot of, oh my good. Hey.
Yeah.
What's your business here?
Long story short, King Oberon asked us to find out why all of this happened. Just motioning towards the sky and out and everything. So that's what we're doing. And we're heading to where the realms meet. And we're trying to get there, but we have to walk and it's really far and we keep getting turned around and some of us keep getting distracted by things, but we're on our way. And we have a map made by people wearing robes like you. But yeah, that's our business.
Oh. Wow. That is a lot. Yeah. Things that exist here know how to, well, not everybody knows how to not get too distracted, but that is something that Nymphador is known for here. We're also looking at the islands, at the stars. You said you met others like us.
Yes. And I will give the names that I, as the player, cannot remember.
Yep, no worries.
I vaguely remember
Miriam
them.
and Ember. Yeah.
Miriam and Ember. Yeah, so I'll give those names.
Excellent. As you talk about both of them, this centaur that's in front of you has eyes of recognition for sure. They introduce themselves as Ahalo and welcome you to their camp. Oh, so you know Miriam and Ember, you have the map. Oh, we don't need to catch you up at all then. Here, come on over. And they bring you over to their table, which now you can see has a very similar map, but instead of looking at all of the islands at the same time, their map is looking at specifically one island, and it is colored in this bright yellow on their map, as they look pretty interested in that specific one. As Ahalo talks to you again, okay, so you know you're trying to figure this out too. So they took our connection to the stars, actually. There is the wars to say, which none of you would really know about as you are not from the realm of Nymphador. But it is the importance to the centaurs. This is where we go to get our divine magic spoken to us, and only those who are deemed worthy can make the journey. But right now, none of us are able to do that because it is, and they point at the map, and you can see that the speck of yellow is currently floating above the realm of Gefelden, which is not particularly close.
That's really sad. Yeah, we're working on trying to figure out what's going on and possibly maybe see if there's a way to fix it. We have a lead that's taking us to, like I said, where all the realms meet now. Hopefully we can find something out.
Okay. Well, if you find anything, I mean, we would love to hear about it. And the other two behind him start nodding as well. One of them you can tell is very much younger than both of the other ones. Much smaller. That's the one that's not wearing a robe, but has no constellations on it at the moment.
Oh, something that might be helpful. We were on the island from Sylvanthi, and you know how all the portals between the realms, they always had these big gems on them that powered them or held them together or something. I don't really know the magic behind it, but I found Sylvanthi's. It was cracked and on the island that was floating. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it might.
Huh. Well, the portals haven't been working since the realms merged together, and that makes sense.
The person who might have caused it supposedly gave the person on the floating island that gem. So it might have something to do with it.
So do you think that we'll find the rest of them, or did you take it back with you?
I didn't. We kind of made friends with the person on the island, and it was really sad. That was the only way they were able to see the rest of the world, and they were really attached to that because they kind of see like the person who did this as maybe their deity or something, or a really close friend. It's kind of vague.
Wait.
But that was a gift, and so we didn't take it back.
You know who did this?
Only I don't even know that it's a name. Somebody referred to as Big G.
I don't know what that means. Who did you talk to?
That is complicated.
Okay, well.
A dragon who wasn't really a dragon, who we played hide and seek with, who was from Sylvanthi.
Oh. Well, it seems like we have much to discuss. If you wouldn't mind sharing your information with us, we'll tell you what we know, although it does seem like you might have a little bit more in this than we do.
You know, we could use some help. If you want to come with us to where the realms meet, you could, in case there's fighting or something. It's always good to have friends.
Well, if you're traveling this direction, we might be able to help you out. Yeah, escort you in that general direction, lead you through the realm of Nymphador if you need it.
Kind of look at
if that'll
everyone
help
else.
us get right. And they look around to the folks behind them, and one's like, eh? And one's like, yeah.
I look at the rest of the party as well to make sure that this is something we want. Because I'm thinking if we have them with us, we won't get distracted. No more getting stuck in giant pink orbs.
Seems like a good idea, yeah.
I mean, I still have to get a few of those other things, but yeah, sure, okay, this is fine, I guess. Do they have any of that really good carrot wine?
Oh, maybe actually. Hey, do we have any more of the? As they start talking to themselves and figuring this out. Well, we'll have to double check on that. If anything, it might be in their tent. And he looks back to one of them behind him. But if I can find some, and if we don't have it here, I mean, we'll go over to the the West Bank, and they'll definitely have some over there for us. So,
And like Boss said, he really wants to kill one of the armored sharks that came out of the
Oh.
ground.
Well,
So
good
if
luck.
that's possible.
That one seems like well, good luck. They are formidable and bite a lot. We tend to stay away from them as best we can and just let them do their own thing. But if you're looking for one, well, we do know there's one over there, and gestures roughly towards where you just came from.
But we all are very exhausted after a day. We've had quite the day. We actually jumped off of one of the islands. It was the quickest way down. But could we maybe stay here with you tonight? And then if you come with us, it'll be even easier.
Oh, yeah, sure. We have this open tent right here. If you don't all mind sharing a little spot. Tess isn't out, she's out right now. So I'm sure they wouldn't mind if you take over their tent for just a little bit. Yeah. And then then we'll get moving in the morning, I guess. Oh my goodness. This is great. I'm glad I didn't kill you all.
Well, you could have tried. We've had a number of things try to kill us today, and it has not gone well for them.
Yeah.
But we are really nice, though. Don't think that we're not nice. We are very nice. We can just also defend ourselves.
Oh, it seems like it. Yeah, you are all, well, I would only talk to you really, but you all seem rather trustworthy. At least there are no signs telling me you're not, as they look up at the crystal blue sky above them.
Oh, but the irony of him not seeing the slowly circling bird. That is not good intentioned, the irony.
I was gonna say, I think when he says, I'm glad I didn't kill you, Jinx is still smiling, up on top of Bob, but she pulls out like her sniper focus stick, and in that way, if anybody's seen in anything of Star Wars with Boba Fett, the way he has like his blaster where he like has it resting and then one arm like just on the butt of it, to where it's not like I'm gonna shoot you, but it's still kind of menacing. She just sort of holds it like that and goes, yeah, good thing.
Well, yes, feel free. Take a rest, and when you are ready, we'll head out. We'll need to leave a message for Tess, but I'm sure that they'll catch up with us later.
All right, sounds like a plan. I'm gonna sleep over here though, and Dreb sleeps like 20 feet away from camp because he does have nightmares, and he is also very polite.
Yeah, I look longingly back towards the river, but that giant armored shark is in the way, so I'll just sleep in the tent.
Yeah.
Tent's fine. They've got a little bit of that carrot wine, or even some of that like beet meat, I guess. That'll work too.
They do have a little bit left. You are able to scrounge what little you can. Get a few cups.
It's not enough. It's just enough to make you know you want it. It's
Yep.
a shame.
Yeah. As you do, a hello or hollow tells you, oh, we'll definitely be able to get more later, as they see you just down whatever was left in there. We'll be able to find. Oh, you're done. Oh, we'll get more. Probably.
I'm looking at everyone else. My magic is exhausted, but I'm not that tired. I'm happy to take a watch. during the night if we think we need them.
I don't sleep, so
Oh, that's right.
That's fair.
I might sit up with you for a little while. But I do sleep. I do need sleep. I need lots of sleep.
I am going to sleep so very hard. But I have just one simple request, and I know this is asking for a lot. Jinx, I really need you to hear me on this. Please blink sometimes.
I blinked like 2 days ago.
I know, and what you don't know, when you and Anaichi are staring at each other, do you know what I'm hearing? It's not words. He can't say words, but it's curiosity and anger and frustration that you want to blink, and so he can't blink. Please blink. It's like a wet cloth of anger being pressed on my eyes while I am trying to sleep.
It's so at that Jinx tries to blink, but like she doesn't do it very often, so it's like winking with one eye and then the other in rapid succession. So it's like that.
Sure, he's a sticker for the rules, and I think that would probably disqualify you in his eyes.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, I guess I can try that if I remember.
Great. Well,
Pleasant dreams.
Baskin will go and retire. Prepare for this night of whatever this is.
I'll sit up for a couple hours with Jinx, just chatting.
Yeah. Jinx will also chat, and she's just like moving this little ball of magic back and forth between her left and right hand while she's just sitting there. And that's pretty much all she does all night. Just keeps an eye and an ear out. Blinks a couple of times throughout the night.
Wonderful. As you all settle down for your long rest, this is what we will pick up in the morning when we come back next week. So you are currently in one of the temporary settlements that exists out in the realm of Ninfandor. And where we will go next time is ultimately up to you all. So we'll figure that out when we get there next time.
Awesome. This was so much fun. We're going to go on a raid here in just a little bit, but before we do, I want to give everybody a chance to say what their favorite part was, where you can find them, and anything they want to share or plug. And we'll start with our wonderful DM, Andy.
Hey there. Wow. That was a fun session. That was a lot of good stuff that happened there. There were so many cool parts that I was very, very into. I liked how you figured out how to get off the island. I think first and foremost, it was not too clunky, but figured out what you had to do, and everyone went down a slightly different way. Now, if you go to other islands, you have to figure out some more stuff, but I was curious as to how you were going to try and attempt that in the first place, and I'm glad you found some suitable ways to get out, depending on who you are. So that was really good stuff. Where you can find me next time, tomorrow, I will be streaming some more Pokemon on my own Twitch channel. We might be doing another Animorphs reading on Thursday, depending on how exhausted I feel. But we'll be back here for sure next Tuesday, figuring out what happens next in our storyline. You can find me on Twitter at Martinez Tweets, and you can find me at Twitch at Martinez Streams. And as far as other projects that I'm working on, we'll hopefully in the next couple of weeks have another announcement on that one. But besides that, that's all I think I got for right now. You can find me at any of those places. We'll be online live tomorrow evening. Hope to see you there.
Awesome. Anna, favorite part, where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Hey, that's me. Favorite part is probably the flying Triceratops. That's pretty entertaining. That and the fact that it apparently really has no sense of stranger danger. We've known these centaurs for a total of 60 seconds, and I've already made them party members. And I appreciate that for this party. But yeah, I'm Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny most places on the internet, queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer and podcaster. If any of that sounds interesting, you find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun. I stream a lot of places, including here. Next week, you can find me on Weave the Tale, playing Blue Rose in the West Marches style Blue Rose campaign that has been going on there all season. And then, of course, the podcast More Your Thing. You can find me on Response Team Omnicron, a Lancer actual play podcast, playing through the No Room for a Wallflower adventure setting, following a PR team who unexpectedly finds themselves on the front lines. We have narrative first met combat, sci-fi fields, some really great role-play focused characters. Having a lot of fun putting it together, and the story is really, really great. So you should check that out, see what all the buzz about it is about. You can find us anywhere you normally get your podcasts, and on Twitter at RT Omnicron.
Awesome. Next, we'd normally have M. Go check out her art and stuff at Timberdoodles on Twitter. We will have her back next week. And then next we've got Par. What was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Favorite part. For myself, it has to be Dram being used as bait for giant crab of awfulness. That was fun. Could have gone very wrong, but it didn't, thankfully. Just sent it over a cliff. It was great. You can find me next, of course, next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for this lovely campaign with this lovely party and this lovely DM. I'll plug my Twitch, Mr. Par. I stream there occasionally. And I'm back to it, so you may actually have a chance of catching me live. But I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Next, Zan. What was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you can share or plug?
Yeah, so my favorite part is probably going to be just how nonchalantly Ruli came in and was like, oh, hey, by the way, I know we just beat your ass a few minutes ago, but do you have any magic items for us? And it really that is the intensity and the forgetfulness of any other timelines that may have happened or may will happen, just fully living in this exact present moment that really seems to be so keyed towards. And it was just wonderful. And it was there's so many good parts though. And yeah, I'm Zan. I am a therapeutic GM and homebrew creator for some cool systems out there. You can find me here. You can probably find me tomorrow over on Cat and Schrodinger's channel, where I'll be doing some kind of one shot, maybe. I don't know. We're still kind of up in the air on that. You can also find me over on the Faustian Nonsense Network, where we do some promo stuff for some stuff sometimes. And I know I posted it here the last 2 weeks. But thanks to everybody who donated, we did exceed 100% funding. So that one is going to be getting made, and I'll have some more details on that coming out real soon. I do know that you will be able to find me in 5 separate episodes, though, so that's going to be real fun. Let me know where you hear me. And yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for me today.
Awesome. Next, we'd normally have Goo Honey, or at X the Transient on Twitter. She's really awesome. She also does some art. Go check out her stuff, and then hopefully we'll have her back with us in a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So yeah, and then it just leaves me. My favorite part, the whole thing was really great. The Chol going over the side of the island was great. Also, Jeffrey the giraffe turning into that, like that description and that moment was fantastic. And the mix of reactions of oh crap to oh yes was also really fun to see across the party. Yeah, I enjoyed the whole thing. It was all fantastic. You can find me next on Friday at noon Mountain Time, GMing Avatar Before the Ice Melted. It's our Avatar Legends campaign. It takes place about 10 years before the events of Avatar The Last Airbender. It's pretty fun. It's over on our YouTube channel. And then 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Friday over on YouTube for Welcome to Madison, which is a surreal horror that runs on Fundamental RPG. It's also a very cool game. And then Saturday, back here on Twitch at 6 p.m. Mountain Time for the next Animus Absentus. So that's this week. And other things to share or plug, go check out this PDF, Children and Champions of the Fae. It is a D&D 5th edition supplement that you can find on DM's Guild that we've been using for this campaign. It's really cool. Definitely worth picking up and reading through. And then our sponsors. There we go. Get those in chat. Our Fundamental RPG, which is a simple D20 system that's not tied to a genre. So you can use it to play any style of game that you'd like, from high fantasy to sci-fi and everything in between. You can pick up the physical copies, which look like this, over on Amazon, or if you prefer a PDF, or if you want to try the free quick play guide, you can pick those up at coffee.com/raven, like it's spelled at the bottom of the screen. Also go check out Die Hard Dice at dieharddice.com. They sell amazing polymer and metal dice sets and accessories. If you use the code FUNRPG, all capitals, you can get 10% off of your order. And then I really recommend checking out the Talisman Aventura set. They look like this. You can see them. The green screen's picking them up a little bit, but they're really pretty. They look like Adventurine. And they sent those to me recently. I've been using them for when I need to make physical rolls. So I highly recommend checking those out. They're really cool. And then if you want to catch up on this show or any others that we have on Blackfeather Guild, you can do so over on our YouTube channel, which is just Blackfeather Guild over on YouTube, or a lot of our content is also on the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network. I think that is everything. So we're going to go raid Critical Misses. Looks like they're playing some tabletop RPGs. That's a really cool channel. A lot of really cool people over there. Definitely give them a follow if you're not doing so already. And I will see you all on Friday. Bye, everybody.